Ako, Anko, Kerry, Oko. And we have a guest on the program today that I would describe as the centerpiece of this administration. Why am I saying that? One significant thing one can notice in this administration is the strive to ensure that our roads are motorable. We've been done with potholes. Honestly, I can't even remember the era of the potholes. The roads are so justice like it should be. So on the program this evening, we thought it wise that as the governor is celebrating 2 years in governance, we bring the Commissioner for Works, Cross River State's Honorable Uncle Pius Edet. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you.
There's one gentleman who is very busy, but again, to thank you for finding time, even as you're going around inspection. And I know that your inspections will carry the day because it's quite significant. Now, let's, I would want to raise the curtain this way by asking, what really is the crave about these road rehabilitation, maintenance, and even creation? Because it's just everywhere. How did you get there?
Okay, well, let me thank the viewers, perseverance, and others wherever, depending on where you're watching from. Good afternoon, good evening, and morning, all the same. My name is Honorable Pius Edet, like was introduced, Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Cross River State. A critical question has been asked, and I think the best response to that will be posed to somebody being thirsty for food, or somebody being hungry for thirsty for water and being hungry for food. Perseverance were indeed thirsty of infrastructural development. Our roads were decayed and a lot of deficiencies, within the road. So the quest for roads gave birth to all this movement, that we are pushing. And coupled with the people mantra mandate of His Excellency, the People's First Governor of Cross River State, whose administration is targeting on the yearning and the need, the desire of the people. And of course, you will agree with me the numbers of potholes and some of them, the absence of roads in Cross River State, which of course have made most people, to almost would have sold all their cars. Because if you want to look at the traffic count that you saw along the metropolis, Calabar, and other locations, you realize that people were no longer interested in buying cars. If you buy a car, where would you drive the car to? So rather, it's better you enter the minibuses or possibly enter public transport and travel to the lows and breadth of all the states. So when we look at all of that, we realize that it was not helpful. It wasn't good for the economy of the state. How on earth would you see people will be growing and the roads are not competing, with what's happening to other states? So His Excellency came on board and felt that we have to change the narrative, which of course we commence by visiting the Northern Central District, then Duke Junction to start with when we were sworn in. The area was impassable. The whole place was blocked. About 2,000 tankers were just lined up on the road, and some tankers were able to, we having a lot of issues. Some tankers fall along the road, and the products were all gone. And of course, that was economic damage. I also remember how His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Cross River State, was trying to make a way to his hometown, Ogoja. He couldn't pass. So on that premise, His Excellency the Governor asked me that I pack all my loads and relocate to Ogoja. So on reaching Ogoja, I saw the situation that even for me to pass was a problem, including all the equipment I took from Calabar to fix in Ogoja wasn't easy. But to the glory of God, we were able to conquer. And that axis called Duke Junction today is history. We've been able to conquer the route, and even if it is a federal government route, but His Excellency deemed it fit to ensure that we fixed that road, and today the people are passing and they are happy, which made one of the hazard tanker drivers kneel on the tar road and say, "Oh, may God bless this governor. This Senator Prince Bassett, may God bless him, that he has never seen a governor like this, that listen to the cry of the people." So we were able to do that. Many other roads, which in the course of this discussion we get to, but I want to say that it is the fact that the people were really in the dire need of infrastructure development is what I've given birth to. What we have done.
I see the craving there. Now, Honorable Uncle, there is this issue before now about road maintenance and rehabilitation that the ministry or a lot of people tied down to equipment, lack of equipment and all of that. So how have you been able to deal with that and get out of it? Because I've visited the Ministry of Works there and I've seen 2, 4, 5, 6 equipment. Before now was not there. So what's the miracle?
Well, thank you very much. Before the Senator Professor Banayade came on board, he came on board, and I think the ministry was a bit equipped with few equipment. You had a little equipment that was on board, and on his resumption in office as a governor, he did his part, which he did, and in the course of it, the few equipment and alongside the Ministry of Works and facilities were heavily vandalized during the NSAS. So that made the ministry to lose everything they had. It's like a man losing his ancestral home. So the Ministry of Works lost all the equipment they have secured from time immemorial. So that made the Ministry of Works to be empty, incapacitated, unable to handle the direct labor, of the construction. So the government of Senator Prince Bassett came with a new style, thinking that the only way we can be able to save money, because having been a bank manager, been working in the then bank, Mercantile Bank, you understand what they mean by managerial efficiency, and brought that managerial efficiency to bear in governance, and found that the only way you can reduce cost of construction is for you to own your own equipment. So that was the reason why we had to move. And then we procured some of this equipment. We procured just recently, we just bought our low beds. We bought equipment, we bought low bed that will be able to carry the equipment from different locations to location. We bought trucks, we got some trucks as well. And that is why you see the ministry is equipped today. One thing that have really helped the ministry today is that one of the direct labor jobs that we can do without giving to contractors more that will have equipment. Because one thing involved in construction is that you need to look at the technical expertise, robotic availability. The robotic availability have to do with the equipment, because it is robots that is termed as equipment that will be used to do the work. And then you need to look at the technicality of the people, which we have staff. And most of the staff we had in the Ministry of Works that were there were just dominant. They were just without having any work doing. They were just the nothing. Every day you come to work and you're calling yourself engineer without having a place to practice the engineering which you were. You only go to some project site that projects were awarded, but practicalizing it, because when you see they say division of labor bring professionalization. So it is good for one to be indulged in this business, just like you today as a newscaster. You do this repeatedly. There will be perfection in you. So when you see you have an engineer in a ministry who does not go to site to go and practice what he was taught in school.
So what's different? Are you saying that you recruited new engineers, or you now had to force the best out of the ones that were existing?
It's not the issue of forcing. the best out of it. All of them were best, and they were all good, engineers. But when you don't give engineers the tools, the working tools, the opportunity, to do. So this government have availed them the opportunity for them to go to the site, express what they were taught in school, and that is why you see it replicated in all the project sites today. We've had some projects. We have done the direct labor jobs of the Ministry of Works. If you could go to a place like Yellow Duke Bridge, that mini bridge you see, during Donald's era, that project was done under Donald's era with an anchor pipe. And that anchor pipe is no longer obtainable because that area is the build-up area. People are building houses, and it passes under Channel 1 drain. And all the volume of water that is coming under the anchor pipe was no longer available, was no longer good. So which was the reason why every time along that mountain you'll be seeing water flood over, vehicles were unable to pass. So we came up with a new design using the direct labor of the ministry, because when we gave to contractors, the bill given to us was too high. And we gave to another contractor, about 3 contractors bidding, and the rate they brought was too relatively high. So we found that because of the free equipment we've been able to purchase, let us do this project ourselves. And I can bet you the result we came out was we were able to crash more than 50%, of what the contractor gave to us. So we use this equipment and we're able to achieve that. Again, we look at what happened in Chamley Street, the same cover, Channel 1 train. We did it direct labor, and which also availed the engineers from the ministry the ability to practice what they were taught in school.
So invariably, you're mainly and really using your professionals.
Yes, we are using it. We are using it, even if I know that we cannot replicate ourselves in all the project sites. We have more than 150 to 200 site projects going on simultaneously under this government of Senator Prince Bassey. And of course, it is not possible that the Ministry of Works will be able to handle all of these projects, by themselves and direct labor. So we have to divide it and give some to contractor while we handle some, to enable government, to save money for themselves. So that is what we've been able to do with those equipment. Those equipment you see, I thank God of the decision of course the governor to procure those equipment, because if you look at now, the price of that equipment is like times 4. The way it is. So it was a right step, by His Excellency the governor. That was taken.
Commissioner, I'm a bit worried in terms of maintenance culture, because you agree with me that I think this is one of the biggest challenges that we find in this part of the world. So is this administration adopting a different approach when it comes to maintenance culture? Because is there a time frame for those rehabilitation of those roads you are rehabilitating to actually follow up, if you can give it a second phase if anything happens?
Well, when we're talking about maintenance culture, I have 2 ways. Maintenance in the part of the machines we are just procured, and maintenance of the road. And of course, maintenance should be a culture of every government, a culture of everybody. If you don't have maintenance culture, then you are not worth living. Because even as you are living here, God is running spiritual maintenance on you and unknown to you as you are living. So in the same vein, you also have to run a maintenance on what humans have created. Everything you see around, including where we are sitting here to grant this interview, are humanly created. So they all call for a proper maintenance, and if that is not done, then the purpose of creation, purpose of existence is defeated. So for us in Ministry of Works, we are doing our best, and this goes a long way to say that putting a square peg in a square hole. That is the only way you can have maintenance on it, because you see in life we say that it is any man that have not created wealth cannot manage wealth. It takes a wealth creator to be a wealth manager. The man who is a governor today have created wealth. I myself, as a commissioner for roads and infrastructure, have created wealth in my capacity before now. A private businessman, a contractor who have handled fleets of equipment and trucks, personally owned in right now. So I have the expertise to handle and manage those equipment that have been procured. And I also pray by the special grace of God, after our tenure, whoever takes over from me and takes over from governor should also wear the same approach, which we are. And then for the issue of road maintenance, I'm thinking that for us, we are wearing a garment in our bodies, calling it a culture of maintenance. And which is why you can drive within Calabar metropolis and every other place closing your eyes, without seeing any potholes, because we have maintenance culture. Just recently, the 2023, we were able to fix the teaching hospital road, and we just realized that there's a little potholes, and we noticed we have gone back there and we have filled that area. That is the culture of maintenance which we are talking about. You understand? So we are making that in all the roads, in Calabar metropolis, and this is the reason because the asphalt which we are using for this maintenance, the asphalt component, it's otherwise known as the flexible pavement, is really not welcoming in a mangrove forest like us, where we come from. The mangrove forest, like where we come from, the south axis part of Nigeria, the crossover state in particular, is full of rain. The amount of rain give a high level of water table, and so that goes a long way to affect asphalt, because the asphalt and water are not friendly. So at some time when rain falls, you see a little problem beginning to come up, even with the design you do, which is the reason why we came up with a different technology called concrete pavement technology that we have done in yellow juke, we have also done in the future here. So and many other places which we are also trying to. Just yesterday now, we have started another one, the same concrete pavement at the Wahenshaw, and many other streets. We need to put that, because I can tell you for free, concrete lasts longer than provided you give the right thickness. If you are putting 200 mm thickness of concrete, as we did in one of them, as well as if you take junction analysis, you can keep it there for the next 50 years. You can go back and make it, and that is the beauty of it. So I want to say that from maintenance, let me breathe by saying that from maintenance, we are taking it as a culture, and the governor will not even allow me to land, because he drive round the town to inspect the road by himself, and also call me commissioner. I have just seen a pothole here, and so there was a time I even declared Operation Zero Pothole, and tell people that if you see a pothole along Calabar, come, I'll give you 10,000 each pothole. I think 5,000 rather. So that was then, but now I don't think there's any way I'm able to conquer all the
Commissioner, each time, let's just take this briefly before we take a break. Each time engineers come talking about the concrete tarring and all that, I begin to wonder, what was on your minds before now? All these years we were doing bitumen and asphalting and all. Did you guys not know that concrete roads were the best option?
Well, I think in the life, when no man is an island of knowledge and reservoir of wisdom, you will learn every day of our life. And like you sit here, you permit me to say that you can also learn that from your junior staffs. Yeah, so that is what life it is. So most people who believe that they know it all, they are deceiving themselves. So for what was before now, it was a technology of asphalt. That is because that was what was alternative. Most of the reason why asphalt was seen to be the best way of road construction in Nigeria, I'll tell it for a free, the way it is, because the engineers that were used for road construction then were all the foreigners. And the engineers, you see, the companies, you see, multinational corporations, you see that right, who were handling all of those things were all foreigners. They had the expertise, to construct road. So they were deceiving us that the best way to do road is through asphalt, And do you know why? If they had asked you to do a road on concrete, believing that you have a stone here, you have the cement factory here, so it would have cut them off the business. So it would have been like copy and paste. So that is why I tell people that the problem of Nigeria is that Nigeria is one of the countries in the whole world that consume what they don't produce and produce what they don't consume. How can you have quarry in Akanko here? You have Lafarge that produces cement here. Rather than bring cement and stone put together, you prefer to go and import crude oil to produce asphalt. The cost of asphalt today is about almost 1.5 million naira per ton. Whereas 1 ton of stone today in the quarry is 16,400. One bag of cement is almost 10,000 naira. If you carry another and join together, you've already constructed a road. So the white man will deceive you, preach to you. That is what is called neo-colonialism. Neo-colonialism is called advanced way of capitalism. So of colonizing you, economic colonization, telling you, deceiving you, telling you that this is the way to go. Right? That is not the way to go. So I want to say that the issue of that was the perception, that was given to our people, and we fell into the prey of the Western colonizers. Because this is the same thing that happened within our crude oil, that today our refiners cannot work today. The downstream operations cannot work. Because, so there are lots,
If you're just joining us, we are talking with the Honorable Commissioner for Works, Honorable Anko Pius Edet, who is here to tell us the much this administration on infrastructural development and all of that. And like we said when we started, he is a square peg in a square hole. One who holds his own in engineering. We'll be back after this time out, and we'll be talking about what is happening in our roads in the local government areas. Thanks for joining us. If you're just joining us, we are talking with the Commissioner for Works, Cross River State, Honorable Anko Pius Edet, who is updating us on what is happening on our roads. So at this point, Honorable, I want you to give us a rundown of roads you have handled, not just in the state capital, but across the state. I hope that is not too much.
No.
But I know you can.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I said earlier that we have about 200 programs. We are presently running about 200 kilometers of roads with about 60 kilometers already completed. From 2023, we were sworn into office. We have done quite numbers of roads. Initially, that first stage, after we finished from Duke Junction, we came back. His Excellency the Governor asked that we go back to fix put up a structure, do an in-depth study of the entire road, because one of the things that is important is for you to do a visibility study for every business. So in the business of infrastructure, we did a visibility study. We realized we took the chronicle all the roads, that were done. So we took the White Market Road. That was collapsed. Remember the truck that fell along White Market? The whole of that road was unpassable. People had poured debris on the drainages. They were all blocked. Water was flowing everywhere. So we were able to tackle the place. We broke the anchor pipe, which was the old one that had a center demarcation, and we were able to put a new drain that today is visible. People are using it. We also asphalted from the police station, that is the top of the police station, down to the White Market roundabout. And today it's wearing a good look. So it is seen, visible. Then after that, we went to rehabilitation of a parliamentary extension, which we were able to put it initially at the temporary basis on what we would call as palliative for people to pass, and that we were able to do, by this government. As soon as we finished that, His Excellency asked us to go into the mainstream of it, the proper construction of that road. So we had to go back to parliamentary road, realize that they need to discongest highway and create an alternative route where people will be able to navigate from that way to technical roundabout. So we awarded the contract, for the construction of that road to technical roundabout. And today, last year 2024, when the office of His Excellency the Governor, we're able to commission the phase 1 of that project, and you can see how it will, when you're descending the anchor point, you can see how beautiful the road is, well-based. So one may ask, why is the project delayed a bit? It is delayed because we had to change the design of the road. Initially, the road was designed for 7.3 meters width, but when I came back and looked at it, I said, no, this is not obtainable owing to what is happening in the modern state and modern country. People are trying to dualize road, open road, so we can't come back and we turn Cross River State back to the 18th century where people are talking about 7.3 meters width. So I expanded the road to 10.8 meters width, which is making the making the alignment, the design, and all of this was able to take time. But today, we are trying to push to do the phase 2 of the project that will take us to the flyover. And so we have awarded that job, and the work is presently being handled by a company called the Mazan Construction Company. And after that, we also awarded the rehabilitation of Murtala Muhammad Highway and rehabilitation of Mariam. And that was in preparation of the calendar, which we're able to do with it. And of course, you know that those roads we have mentioned are actually the federal highway, federal alignment, federal road. But the government didn't think about that because the fact that federal government is in Abuja and Cross River State is here. And so it is Cross Riverians that are here that are going to face it. And so we needed to put that road, which was the reason why we want that. And we did the proper rehabilitation of that road, which is the reason why all the potholes along the Murtala Muhammad Highway all disappeared. Likewise, the pothole in Mariam, you could not see it. The last carnival that was done, you didn't witness any crisis on the bikers carnival because most of those bikers are always exposed to potholes. Because of that, they became threatened in the course of their room. So this carnival, that did not happen because all the potholes were able to work on them all. And again, we move again to award the construct of several routes within the metropolis. Their routes are too numerous. In Calabar South, we are so countless of those routes which we have awarded, but we have the route of all of them have been done. This government is not known for an audio project that will come and put on the screen, put on stadium where the governor is doing this and all of that. So we want, after we finish, the result come out, you see the result, and that is what the government is known for. So we have done quite numbers of roads in Calabar South. I can't name them. Overseas Street, everywhere, they are so countless.
As if we are just limiting it to Calabar Metropolis.
I'm coming. We are coming there. So we fix Equibus and all of those things that have been fixed. Just now, as I'm sitting here, I just came back from the commissioning of the Otono 18 Abasi Street, which that street. It was in fact, even you couldn't even pass with your legacy bands. But today we have commissioned that project, and quite numbers of projects. Again, we turn back and look at the security formations. There are internal roads within the security formations. The civil defense, we're able to fix civil defense. We fix Mopol 11. The state police headquarters is wearing a new look. You look at the Akambara, today we have network of road and the training ground. We've been able to put all of that. You go back to DSS, we have fixed all of that. Today, presently we're working in our own fire service and many other places we are able to fix. So these are good work within which His Excellency the Governor is doing. In Calabar municipality, I can't count the numbers of it. The one that even slapped my mind so much and the people are so excited, happy, is the one that happened in Escotan. All of us know that Escotan is a commercial hub of Cross River State, and the numbers of tankers, the tank farms that are there, pulling out in and out, the numbers of accidents that have been recorded, those were all economic sabotage, economic waste. But under the leadership of Senator Prince Basejo, to look at what it is, we've been able to fix Escotan is wearing a good look. And then the one that the people are so happy that is, I would call a gigantic project of His Excellency, is the construction of Adiabo Kunutu Road. The Adiabo Kunutu Road is one of the places that was done during the military era of Abacha, about 33 days, 33 years years down the line, no successive administration have deemed it necessary enough to touch that road. But today, His Excellency the Governor of Cross River Senator Ambassador have taken the bold step to take that decision, and today people are navigating there. It is important that everybody,
but it's not completed yet.
The project is ongoing. People were saying that Cross River State, Calabar in particular, had only one way in and one way out. So the innovation of His Excellency was to create a different route where people can change that narrative that Cross River indeed Calabar do not have only one way. It is because the successive government, the past government, didn't deem it fit, to create such route. Well, I understand their fear, because entering that point, I have not realized what their fear was. The amount of sharp sands that we have filled on that road, the amount of money we have put to be able to achieve the level which people are able to pass to them. So our call goes to the infrastructure of Vasco da Gama, because Vasco da Gama was the man who discovered the sea route to India. So for him, it's possible to discover, the sea route to Africa, so it's a great man indeed. And so then we needed to do that in the south, because Calabar Cross River was seen as a dead state. It was dead because infrastructure decay of the state. Because anybody that comes to Calabar through sea or air, the landing point is Calabar. So whatever thing they see in Calabar is what they take from Cross River is not developed. So we needed to change the narrative. That is why we said once the head is rotten, the entire body is rotten. So we need to fix the head, which is the capital of the state. And today we are glad that the state is ready. And then His Excellency moved to the people that were by local government, constructing the long-standing Obansan Road. Obansan Road was introduced during the pre-colonial era. So you can imagine during pre-colonial era, colonial era, and the military era, and then the democratical era. So many years. Even my own father that just died wasn't born then. So no government in any form, primitive government or colonial, whichever way, didn't deem it necessary to put that. So we were able to do so, but so we were able to fix that road. And then His Excellency has now moved to the Central Cross River, which we are doing road in Ugep today. We have a road like Ijom Hospital Road. We have a road like Lusana Road. We have so we have started all the road in Ugep. We also moved. We are presently working in Bani, where the former governor of Cross River Settlement we are constructing in Bani at the road. We also moved to Iko. We are constructing Bank Road in Iko. We are constructing a tunnel road today in Iko. We are constructing Ochido Road. We are constructing Sweet Mother Road. We are constructing Ide Road. That is the hometown of the present speaker of the Cross River House of Assembly. So we are doing quite numbers of things, not just center here. And then we move to the Northern Cross River, where we are working. We are turning Buka. I know where you are talking about. That is your own interest. So we move. So we move, to the north, where we are presently working in Goja local government. All the roads from Nduk Junction to Monaya, it will be a different look. In fact, somebody came during the festive period to his place, he couldn't locate his hometown anymore. So, and I received a call from a friend who happens to come from the commissioner. Where are you? I want to buy a drink. And I send me, I extend my regard to His Excellency the Governor for what is happening in Goja today. So we have done, Goja is wearing a different look, and very soon we are going back there to His Excellency to go and do commissioning. We don't just stop in Goja. We went to Akreya. The bridge that was abandoned, there was no road. One of those days, the president's commissioner for education was going there to bury his relative. And wishing that the water had already flowed to his bank and couldn't go. We turned back to the mortuary. So we were able to, on that alone, nothing was passed, and after we go back. Today, we are constructing the bridge, and the bridge is near completion. And not just the bridge. The agency proved that any garage that comes, they must go with soup. We said, haven't given them a bridge. We must also put roads. So now we have also constructed the road, to Akaya, to complement that. And then the one that we need to hear, which is very important, is the popular Ukele road. The Ukele road was singing everywhere. Ukele have been shouting, Ukele is not be heard, Ukele not be heard. Ukele have never been heard. But under the government of Senator Prince Basidou, Ukele have been heard by the award of contract for the construction of Ukele, the right known as Wanikade Wanihim, Wamakade Road. So the project is on. It's one of the roads that is ready for commissioning. So there are quite numbers of projects. Time might not really permit me to, chronicle about that. But let me tell you,
time will not permit us. You have so much to tell us, and it's a deal. Promise us you'll come back for part 2. But before that is done, You gladly heard from the Honorable Commissioner for Works, Cross River State, Honorable Anko Pius Edet, a storehouse of knowledge. He has it in his fingertips. You know, it excites me when I talk to people like this who hold their own. So congratulations, sir. Looking for more like Oliver Twist. And from this end, the media being the voice of the voiceless, we want to say that for the people say, whatever work is done, quality should be the watchword. And you are doing great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I promise that you'll come back to finish the other talks. Thank you for finding time out of your very busy schedule today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.